Hello and welcome to Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Greg. Today we're going to make dressing-flavored candy. And I'm not talking about salad dressing. I'm talking about dressing like stuffing. One of the weird things about English is there are multiple terms for the same name. And stuffing is traditionally a bread mixture put into a bird or another creature and baked and served on the side in the United States. But dressing is made in a tray. It can be vegan, it can be vegetarian, it can be anything. And it's also very traditional for the American Thanksgiving. And my family has a tradition of celery dressing, and that's going to be part of our Thanksgiving assortment. There's a couple of things to think about here. One, the flavors that we're using. Yes, we're making dressing as candy, and we're doing it, I think, fairly well. But the other thing is how these flavors work. And that's what this video is going to discuss. How you make a flavor that tastes like something and brings back memories. Because most of what flavors are bringing back memories of past things that you've enjoyed, past times that you've enjoyed. And I think we all need a little bit of good enjoyment right now. Our final flavor assortment is sweet corn, butternut squash, sweet potato casserole, sweet beets, apple pie, blueberry cobbler, cranberry sauce, pecan pie, ham, dressing, and for the drink this year, we're doing apple cider. I swear, this is the most Willy Wonka thing I've ever done. And the ham tastes like ham, and the sweet corn tastes like sweet corn. Actually, I got to finally taste some of that candy corn for their Thanksgiving feast that Brock's made, and I gotta tell you, if they copied me, I'm not in any trouble. But I would like to see a side-by-side comparison at some point. And I've got some bad news and some good news. The bad news is by the time this video hits out and you see it, we're already sold out of the Thanksgiving assortment, our holiday feast assortment. The good news is, if you comment here and tell us you want leftovers, well, what's Thanksgiving without leftovers? We'll make them in the form of drops, no images, and they'll go out as soon as Thanksgiving is over because you can't have Thanksgiving leftovers before Thanksgiving. But it'll be mostly the same flavors. I don't think we have any more beet left to work with. It was really hard to do in the first place to get that flavor, but most of the flavors are going to be there, and you can still order that if you wish. And of course, next year you can order early. And of course, Christmas stuff is coming up, and candy canes are already online, and, well, we sell out every year. So if you're interested in trying this candy for yourself, go to www.pd.net, and of course comment here saying you want to see the Thanksgiving leftovers. Besides being a strange flavor, this video is notable for another thing. It's Bernard's first solo video, and he's made this batch entirely by himself. I'm actually standing on the other side of the camera. I refer to touchstones a lot. Touchstones are elements that bring back other memories. In an ice cream shop, it might be one of those circular seats against a counter. For Christmas, it might be the smell of a pine tree in a living room. These are personal things that everybody brings to the table, their experiences. It goes back to what a guy named Derrida once said. He said, language is a lie. And what he was meaning is your experience is different than my experience, and you bring as much to the artwork as the artwork brings to you. In this case, the artwork's a flavor, and if you notice, I'm being a little wishy-washy here, and that's because it's very hard to describe flavors with words. Flavors probably are better defined by other flavors, and that's how we're triggering these memories. So, what we did here, and you've seen it earlier in the video, is we put a white powder on the candy. The sugar had no flavor. It was just a suspension for the spices. We did this before in our pumpkin spice candy. And by triggering memories with the right flavors and the right context, this tastes just like celery dressing. So that was a collection of spices, and it's actually my family's dressing recipe. It's what we put in the bread and the other things to make a good baked dressing. And truthfully, I think most of America's Thanksgiving tradition goes back to the Betty Crocker cookbook, so this touchstone is probably going to be very similar for all of us. But it has onion in it and celery in it and other spices in it. And we mixed it up precisely like last year. Now, it's going to behave a little differently in a candy because it's a powdered suspension of flavor, not a liquid, which means it's only going to exist where the powder exists. Now, this isn't a problem except when you first put it in your mouth, because the first thing you taste is just sweet, because the outside layer of the candy is just sugar. But once that tiny layer gets dissolved in your mouth, the flavors start coming through. Actually, if you can crunch it with your teeth just a little bit, without chipping a tooth, of course, you can get even more of the flavor out. And that is what we're going for. We're going to trigger a memory of past meals. If you've never had a dressing or a celery dressing, will this trigger a memory? I've got to wonder about that, but it's still going to be interesting, and it's still savory candy instead of the traditional sweet. And this is what puts this particular flavor, I guess, apart from the other ones. In this flavor, you get true savory. When we do the honey roasted ham, it's ham, and it's clearly ham, but you've had sweet ham before. In this one, your brain can't deal with the sweet and just removes it from the flavor altogether. And it's really cool. I mean, sweet corn and sweet beets, well, we've had that. If you've ever had a borscht soup, you've experienced a sweet beet. If you've ever had, just really fresh corn, you've had sweet corn. But this is different, and that's what I like about this assortment. It has flavors you'd expect, like apple pie or even sweet potato pie. It has sweet in its name, for goodness sakes. But now we're going into the spice, and that's why I like our pumpkin spice candy, and I really like our dressing. And working with dry flavors is kind of a cool experience. I've been going back through the old candy cookbooks I have, and I have them dating back to the mid-1800s. And one of the cool things is this is something that was done back then that they sort of stopped doing sometime around 1900s. It's easier to work with pure liquid flavoring. But the liquid flavoring, well, back then was very weird and artificial often, but this allows us to do some stuff that you can't do with other flavors. In this case, add a salt flavor, add another flavor like that. The last vestige of this is the powdered citric acid we put into some of our fruit flavors. And adding the flavors late in the process also means that the flavors aren't as affected as much by heat, if they are a flavor that would be affected by heat. And then the uncanny valley happens. And the place that this becomes strange is you get a flavor that you expect to find in a soft bread-like dressing. And instead, you get a hard piece of candy. And that also puts a smile on my face. And it sometimes puts a look of confusion on others. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click on subscribe, and you can also click on the alerts button. We put out videos regularly. And if you also are interested, we have a weekly podcast you can get wherever you download podcasts or off our website at www.pd.net on the podcast button. You can also order candy there and try this very candy for yourself, at least in the Thanksgiving leftover assortment. And now that we have rods of candies, we have to turn them into bite-sized pieces by taking our candy to the Canville and cutting it up. And all that's left to do is to look at the artwork and make sure that it's okay, and to blend it with the other 10 flavors. And the fun part is that's only a fraction of the candy we made. We had to blend it in several batches. We're located in Tallahassee, Florida, right off I-10 and Thomasville Road. Please check us out if you're ever in the area. We don't make candy all the time, but we make candy a lot. If you come by, you might be lucky and you might catch us making candy. We make it right out front. Thank you again for watching, and if you can, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.